Hello everyone, I'm Alex Russo and I'm a science fiction and fantasy author. Today I will be discussing how to create a realistic planet for your sci-fi franchise. Some key factors about designing a realistic planet involve some mistakes to avoid when creating a planet, the types of celestial bodies, and some important factors for terrestrial worlds. While this presentation is tailored more towards hard sci-fi, the same principles can work for soft sci-fi. Even though I had my Star Wars phase like other SFF fans and authors, I have to point out its main errors. It is unlikely a hospitable planet could be covered in one biome, such as Nal Hutta or Kashyyyk. A planet's orbit, axial tilt, tidal locking, and climate all play a role in the distribution of biomes. In fact, Dune, the franchise that inspired Star Wars, addressed this issue with the southern regions of the planet Arrakis, rumored to be hospitable, while the northern hemisphere was dry and devoid of all life. Additionally, Star Wars belongs to the genre of science fantasy, so even though there are aliens and starships, it employs traditional fantasy tropes and applies them to whole planets. I would also recommend avoiding sentient planets or planets made of biomass. From a biological standpoint, space is pretty much empty aside from celestial bodies, stars, nebulae, and gas clouds, so a planet made of biomass would explode due to the pressure difference in the cells and the outside environment. Additionally, water bears and bacteria are the only organisms that I know of that can survive in a vacuum, and even these are in a dormant state. Finally, inorganic materials cannot exhibit emotions or opinions, so a planet cannot be alive while also being composed of rock and magma. So the idea of an active living planet is better tailored towards science fantasy and soft sci-fi rather than hard sci-fi. While a living planet may not be factual, there are several other celestial bodies that are. Starting off with types of celestial bodies, we have gas giants. These are classified into Jupiters and Neptunes based on their size, when the planets Jupiter and Neptune are compared to them. Keep in mind also that a Neptune may refer to a large terrestrial world, too. These terrestrial planets would be planets with a rocky crust, and usually some landmass, though there are water worlds that have been observed. Moons and dwarf planets are another type of celestial body. The last two are terrestrial bodies, and can have a wide variety of different surface types. There are several other factors to consider for planets. Temperature plays a role, and planets are classified as hot or cold based upon the proximity to their star outside of the habitable zone. Tidal locking is important because tidal locking will keep a planet from rotating and thus create bands of different habitability in regards to the location one is at on the planet. Rogue planets are planets without a star and as such drift in space. Orbit shape would also play a role in seasons because the proximity a planet has to its star during its orbit, alongside its tilt, is what gives it its seasons. When it comes to terrestrial planets, there are several factors to consider. Axial tilt has an effect on the distribution of biomes because heat from the sun heats up the oceans and atmosphere, creating differences in pressure and moisture that cause wind, weather, and local climates. Tidal locking plays an equally important role in climates on a planet. The side of the planet facing the star would be warm, likely a tropical or a desert environment. The side of the planet facing away from the star would be cold and dark, while the part of the planet between the two extreme sides, known as the terminator line, would retain a temperate climate. Moons play a role on tides, so multiple moons could create extreme tidal shifts, with lakes being drained at certain times, while at others they would form tsunamis. Terrestrial composition, such as the prevalence of different types of rocks and layers of strata, are important because it facilitates which fungal, algal, or vegetable organisms can survive on a planet. Biodiversity also plays a role, as the amount of plant matter, especially trees, in a certain area affects local climate, and the niches of certain animals on the environment could play a role in the prominence of certain plants compared to others in a particular region. Plate tectonics also play an important role because they cause continental drift, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions. Atmosphere composition plays a role because it will determine which organisms, such as anaerobes and aerobes, would have dominance in a certain region. The presence of liquid water on the surface also is an important factor in creating a realistic planet, since most organisms on Earth require liquid water to survive. That is all I have for today. Thank you for watching.